Hey guys, let's get more news about Dallas, but first, don't forget to subscribe and leave your like. Cowboys fans blast Jerry Jones after former starter leaves on cheap deal. The Dallas Cowboys have let quite a few players walk in free agency, but new contract details of a recent departure aren't making fans happy. Sometimes a team can't afford to bring a player back, but in former Cowboys DT Jonathan Hankins' case, it was clearly a situation where they just didn't want him around. On March 25, ESPN reporter Brady Henderson reported the details of Hankins' new deal with the Seattle Seahawks. Hankins isn't being paid much more than the league minimum. The Seahawks deal with DT Jonathan Hankins is for 1 year and $2.05 million with $300,000 guaranteed, a source tells me, Henderson wrote on X. Hankins got a $300,000 signing bonus, a $1.24 million base salary and $510,000 in per-game bonuses. After that info was released, the immediate response from Cowboys fans was not positive. But then the report that 2023 first-round pick DT Motzi Smith would miss 4 to 6 months to recover from shoulder surgery, and it led to an even louder response from the Dallas fanbase. And Motzi is injured? They knew this? This guy who needs to make the big leap from season 1 to 2 is going to miss OTAs and minicamp, but no, we couldn't go get DJ Reader or Jonathan freaking Hankins. I can't with these Jones apologists, Cowboys fan at In the Clutch 75 wrote on X. Now that the Cowboys have a depth issue at DT, letting Hankins walk is only creating more chatter. For blogging the boys RJ Ochoa, there is no question that this is a blunder. The Dallas Cowboys do not deserve to be an NFL team, Ochoa wrote on X. Meanwhile, 97.1 The Freak host Kevin Gray Jr. doesn't believe that the Cowboys were priced out on Hankins. Cowboys are down bad, they couldn't afford this for Jonathan Hankins GTFOH #Dallas Cowboys, Gray wrote on March 25. Not everyone believes that the Cowboys made a mistake. Ochoa's co-worker, blogging the boys writer Dan Rogers, brought up the counterpoint that new defensive coordinator Mike Zimmer just didn't want him in his system. Everyone seems so annoyed that Jerry wouldn't pony up for Hankins. I love Big Hank. I would have brought him back, Rogers wrote. But the thing people are missing is that if Mike Zimmer wanted Hankins for his defense, the Cowboys would have re-signed him. That tells us all we need to know. As mentioned above, Motzi Smith will be rehabbing for the next few months after shoulder surgery. He's not alone, as Cowboys and 2023 second-round pick Luke Schoonmaker also had a shoulder operation and will also miss OTAs and minicamp. Dallas head coach Mike McCarthy spoke on the situation and backed Smith to have a big second season. Motzi had shoulder surgery, McCarthy said. He's going through a rehab phase right now. He's definitely one of the guys that needs to take that big second-year jump, and I think he'll do that. For context, Smith only totaled 13 tackles and 1 sack in the 2023 campaign. He only played 28% of the team's defensive snaps, despite appearing in all 17 regular season games. Cowboys' 3 best players to target with 2024 NFL Draft first-round pick. The Dallas Cowboys have consistently proven themselves as astute drafters, securing impactful talent across various positions in recent years. In fact, their confidence in their drafting prowess is such that they often forego exploring trade or free agency options outside the organization. That has been clearly evident through last year's trade deadline and this year's free agency up to this point. So how will the Cowboys shape their team in the 2024 NFL Draft with the number 24 pick? The Cowboys have done quite well for themselves in the first round in 3 out of the last 4 seasons. Tyler Smith, Micah Parsons, and CeeDee Lamb have all been home run picks for Dallas, keeping them a consistent winning team and making the playoffs the last 3 seasons. However, the last 3 seasons have also resulted in 3 early playoff exits, leaving the Cowboys and their fans shaking their heads and asking what else is needed for this team to get over their postseason woes. they'll start with the draft once again, this time with the 24th overall pick, looking for at least a part of the solution. With a couple of different areas of need, the Cowboys could go a number of ways, leaving them likely to pick the best available on the board. Here are 3 players the Cowboys should target in the 2024 NFL Draft. With the loss of left tackle Tyron Smith to the New York Jets in free agency, the Cowboys are going to need to keep Dak Prescott protected and fill that void. One of the more obvious choices would be Tyler Guyton from Oklahoma. Guyton's expertise mostly comes from playing right tackle with the Sooners, per PFF, but still, at 6'8", 322 pounds, he'd be a welcomed addition to what has been a consistent position for the Cowboys for some time, now needing a new body. Continuing with the theme of building back the offensive line, going for center Jackson Powers Johnson seems like the right move as well. That's mainly because they lost 3-year starter Tyler Biadasz to their NFC East rival, the Washington Commanders. Sure, the Cowboys could always look to Brock Hoffman, who had 2 starts at the position in 2023, but even if they do, he doesn't seem like the long-term plan at center. Taking Powers Johnson would essentially give them a bona fide center that could continue to build the offensive line around for years to come. Cooper DeJean is likely to be a favorite on a lot of people's boards. Most have him hovering around as a late-round draft pick in most mock drafts. He could still be around when the Cowboys pick with their number 24 selection, that is if he's not taken by their other NFC East rival, the Philadelphia Eagles, at number 22. If the Cowboys were able to snatch up DeJean, they could have one of the best secondaries in all of the NFL next season. With the former Hawkeye able to play all over the field, it would allow Dallas other corners in Trayvon Diggs and Darren Bland, who had a combined 10 interceptions and 5 touchdowns last season, to be freed up. At Iowa last season, DeJean had 2 interceptions in 10 games, with a total of 7 for his career, according to Sports Reference. He likely would have had more last year if not for a leg injury that caused him to miss some games. Cowboys predicted to add record-breaking receiver for Dak Prescott. The Dallas Cowboys could be an ideal landing spot for a record-breaking wide receiver. As the Cowboys enter the 2024 NFL Draft, there's a few major voids on offense. One of those holes is none other than at wide receiver. While Dallas has their 2 top receivers in CeeDee Lamb and Brandon Cooks, they're looking for a new number 3 receiver following the release of Michael Gallup. CBS Sports' Chris Trapasso projects that the Cowboys will draft a record-breaking wide receiver in the University of Texas Xavier Worthy. The 20-year-old wide receiver made headlines during the NFL Combine for breaking the record for 40-yard dash time at 4.21 seconds. Trapasso writes that the Cowboys could add a burner for Dak Prescott and keep the receiver in the state of Texas by selecting him with the number 24 pick in the draft. Why can't the Cowboys add a young, elite burner to the receiver group? Worthy staying in state would be fun for Dak Prescott, writes Trapasso. Worthy isn't your typical fast, undersized wide receiver, he's actually capable of being a starter and is a projected first-round draft pick. He's a 3-time All-Big 12 selection and caught 75 passes for 1,014 receiving yards and 5 touchdowns during his final season at Texas. As Bleacher Report's Derek Klassen writes in his scouting report of Worthy, he's a weapon at the line of scrimmage as well. Worthy is a weapon at the line of scrimmage as well, writes Klassen. Not only is he super quick and shifty as a screen option, but he is also an extremely effective player to use in motion. The raw speed and twitchiness he brings can be a nightmare for defenses to react to and keep up with. The fit from an on-field perspective is obvious. Dallas is in desperate need of a big play option. Gallup was that guy once upon a time after averaging 16.8 yards per reception, 7th in the NFL, in 2019. However, an ACL injury at the end of the 2021 season robbed him of that big play ability as he averaged just 10.9 yards per reception in 2022 and 12.3 yards per reception in 2023. However, it might be even more enticing to select Worthy because it makes sense from a financial perspective. The cost of selecting Worthy late in the first round would only cost a total of $14 million, with a total of roughly $2.5 million on the salary cap for the 2024 season. Bleacher Report's Brent Sableski explains why the Cowboys are a potential landing spot for the Texas Longhorns' alum. And you, fan, what do you think of the situation of Xavier Worthy? Leave your opinion in the comments.